Hi there, welcome back. How are you feeling today? How are all these videos sitting with you? Are you finding that some of them are resonating with you? Are you finding that others not so much? Remember, as we said in one of the earlier videos, what resonates with you is meant for you, and what doesn't, just leave it there. It's not meant for you. Everyone here is on a different path. So just go with what feels right for you as you're watching these videos or any videos or listening or talking to anyone in your life. If it resonates with you, then this is the path that you're on. This is what's meant for you. If you're listening to it or watching something and it doesn't feel right, then it's not for you. And that's okay, because we're all here to experience different things. In this beautiful video, this morning, I was really guided to talk to you more about spirit guides, about angels, or the spiritual beings that are on the other side. And the message that was coming through so strong for me today was remembering earlier this year, I found out, I'm trying to think when it was now, maybe a month ago, I found out that one of my uncles had passed away. And at the time that I found out that he had passed away, I was quite angry. So I'm sharing all this for you to see that no matter where you are on your spiritual path, these beautiful emotions still come into play. We still get to feel all these beautiful human emotions because that's what we're here for. But there's something really, really important that I wanted to share in this video today. And that's what came to light with that beautiful experience. I had grown up with this beautiful uncle, and to me, he was like a second dad, truly. He was the second closest in age to my dad, and so the two of them were the closest out of all the brothers and sisters that they had. They were only 2 years apart. But I grew up with this uncle, and my parents were all about family, you know. So every weekend in my childhood, we would get together with these two uncles that were brothers on my dad's side. So they were my dad's brothers. So every weekend we would rotate, and we would either have it, you know, we would all get together at my place, at our house, and mum would prepare lunch and all the cousins would come over, and that would be, you know, that weekend. And then the following weekend we would go to one of our cousins' houses, and then to the other cousin's house. So every 3 weeks it was at our house, because there were 3 brothers that we were all sharing with. So this was my childhood. I had grown up with this beautiful uncle. And when I was 21, I had come over to Australia. We were living in South America with my parents. And I had come over to Australia, and I had spent almost a whole year with this uncle and with this beautiful aunt. And it had made my relationship with them so much stronger, because they treated me like a daughter, like an equal. You know, there wasn't a moment in that year that I was living with them that I felt different to how they were treating their own daughters. I was treated as the third daughter, you know. They loved me that much. And the girls were the same. My cousins treated me like a sister. I was never treated like an outsider, like someone who'd just come in that wasn't part of their family. You know, there was never a moment. It was just the most beautiful year, one of the most beautiful years. And I treasure that year so much in my heart. Because I just felt so loved and so one of them, you know, so part of them. It was just such a beautiful experience. So, you know, these are the memories I have of this beautiful uncle and my beautiful aunt. And about a month ago, I found out via Facebook that this beautiful uncle had passed away last Christmas. Now, I'm in Australia, and this uncle and my cousin and my aunt, they're all in Australia too. So my initial reaction, my original reaction, was to become very angry. I was so angry for about 2 or 3 days that my cousin didn't tell me that he had passed away when he had been such a big part of my childhood. You know, I always felt like he was a second dad. And then my husband was walking me through, you know, that, oh, well, you never call them, you never keep in touch with them, you know, with my uncle, with my aunt, to see how they're going. I haven't made any effort to keep in touch with them, even though we are all here. So yes, there was all that, right? And I'm sure they had their reasons and all the rest of it. But what's important to share here, that's all human stuff. And it's neither here nor there, you know, why they didn't tell me, why I wasn't included in all of that, is not what's important in this message. That's irrelevant, not important. After 2 or 3 days of being angry with my cousin that she didn't think to tell me that firstly he was passing away, you know, because he may have been sick for a while before he left, you know, I sat with myself one day and I thought, why am I angry? Why am I focusing on this, on her not telling me, on being angry with her, with my cousin, for not telling me that my uncle passed? I really sat with myself to get to the bottom of why I was angry and focusing on her. And then the truth hit me so hard, you know, because when I fall into these little traps of this humanness, of being angry, of being sad, of these feelings taking over, you know, and allowing them to take over, I usually go to bed every night and ask the angels for assistance. You know, why am I angry? Why am I focusing on this? And after the 3rd day, it hit me. It was easier for me to be angry with her than to be sad that I would never see him again in this lifetime. I would never be able to receive another beautiful hug from this man, this giant, this gentle giant. Never see him smile again. Never have a conversation with him in this human form again, in this human life. So it was easier to be angry with her than to accept that in this lifetime, in this human form, I would never see him again. You know, the physical part of it is gone. I can't hug him. I can't see his beautiful face here in this in this physical form. All of these beautiful human things that we have in this physical reality was gone. And so once I had that realization that that's what my anger was about, it was taking the focus off my grief, of my loss in this physical form, in this physical life of my uncle. It was easier to be angry with something outside of me. Now, why am I sharing this? Why is this important today? Because of what happened after. As soon as I realized that this is what was happening, that it was easier to be angry with her than to accept that I was sad that he was gone, I could let the tears flow. I could be in that space of, he's no longer physically here. And then I opened up, I did Reiki, and I opened up the channel for communication, and I asked the angels, show me where he is right now. And it was one of the most beautiful moments I've experienced. As I'm asking the angels, because I always call them in and I always see them when they come in as I'm doing Reiki, they were all walking towards me, these beautiful angels. So I had Michael at the front and Gabriel to the side of him, but it's slightly behind. And then to the other side, Uriel, and then Raphael, of course, because he's so tall, he can go anywhere, but he was behind the three of them. Very tall, I could see them. Metatron's always hovering above. That's how I usually see Metatron. He's always like above, supervising everything, you know. It was just really beautiful to witness. But miracles happen when we step into the space of love. As long as we're in the lower vibrations of anger, of grief, of shame, of guilt, all of these lower vibration emotions create density within us. And when we're in that density, it's like this dense mud that you've just put on yourself. And you're covered in this mud. And it's heavy and it's thick. And once you wash off all those emotions, all those low density emotions, and you step into the higher vibrations, and the highest being the vibration of love, because that's where all of these beautiful beings reside, in this gorgeous vibration of love. Once you step into that and you leave all the other vibrations behind, all the other emotions, every emotion has its place. But the magic happened the moment I stepped into love. And I asked the angels to be shown where he is now. And as they were walking towards me, and I'm like, wow, okay, where is he? Where is he? What's he doing now? Is he okay? All these beautiful angels parted, and behind them was my beautiful uncle walking towards me. And as he's walking towards me, he gives me one of his beautiful hugs. You know those hugs where you just feel so squeezed tight that you can hardly breathe? So he gave me one of those beautiful hugs. This huge, gorgeous man that I'd grown up with. And I said to him, I love you, you know. And he said, I know. He said, I know. He said, and I have always loved you. And in that moment that I'm in this beautiful embrace with this gorgeous soul, I look behind where we are, and there's my aunt walking towards me. And she had passed away in 2020. She was living in South America. And I had lived with this aunt when I was 15. And I felt an intense sadness when she passed, because I thought, oh, I'll never see her again. And I loved her so much, you know. So there I am, and she's walking towards me, and she's beaming with so much joy that I could finally see her, you know. And behind her were all my uncles that had already passed on my father's side, all of them walking towards me. And they're all standing there, and it was like a celebration, you know, like we're all together now. You know, it was just the most beautiful moment, just the joy that I could feel within them for each other and for me, you know, and the love pouring through that we all had for each other, we all have for each other, you know. It all came through because of my strong connection with this beautiful uncle. He was one of the uncles that I was most connected to in this lifetime. So he brought forward all of my other uncles that were part of my childhood and part of my life. I'd met them all in person, even though most of them were still in South America. So it was just such a beautiful moment. And it was only made possible because I chose to step into the highest vibration of love and leave all of those other vibrations to the side. And with my heart wide open, I asked to see him again. I asked to be with him again. And, you know, when we ask, the most beautiful miracle is that we are given that and so much more, you know, so much more, because I wasn't expecting to see my beautiful aunt. And I definitely wasn't expecting to see all my other uncles that had already passed, and they were all there, and they were all, it was just the most beautiful thing to see them so happy, you know, they were delighted. And that they were all together again, like they were in their childhood. I saw them as grown men as I had seen them in this lifetime, because I hadn't seen them as children. I had already seen them as grown men, as fathers to my cousins, So my message in this beautiful video, or the message that they're trying to bring through for you today, is that these beautiful beings that you are trying to communicate with on the other side, whether it's your spirit guides, whether it's angels, whether it's an ancestor, a relative that's passed that you dearly want to get in touch with, as long as we stay in this form of grief or anger or sadness, as long as we stay in those emotions, in those vibrations, they can't come through, because they exist in the frequency of love, in the frequency of joy, of ecstasy. That ecstatic, blissful joy? That's where they are. So in order for you to get in touch with these beautiful beings, that's where you need to be. You need to be in that state, with a heart wide open. With a heart so full of love that it's going to explode. So if it is a relative, an ancestor that you wish to get in touch with, open your heart as wide as it will go. As wide, as wide, as wide. And then open it even more. Allow that love in. Allow it in. Fill your heart with that love that it overflows. And then watch the magic unfold. These beings reside in that space of love. And to communicate with them clearly, to have a relationship with them, we need to be in that same frequency, in that same vibration. That's why so many of my videos are about shedding all the lower vibrations, shedding your old beliefs about how things should be. In shedding all of that, we become free to have this beautiful life experience where we can be with these beautiful beings always. All you have to do. I'll put that into the next video, because I just thought of something that was a big light bulb in my last book, of how simple it is to be with these beings. How simple. All right, my darlings, I love you guys. Remember to click like and subscribe so you don't miss any of the messages. And I'm going to tell you one of the most important things in the next video. Bye for now.